So now this is the part where you have to do the calibration. I have a tripod, or what you can do is, because they give you this little microphone with the receiver, Odysseys are the same way. They have a little, it's kind of like a pyramid, and you can just stick it on a tripod, or you can like get like a box, anything like that. Basically what you want to have is this going to be at your ear level. That's why whenever you plug this in, it starts the calibration. So it gives you the best signal. It corrects for all the echoes and things like that in the room. That's why it's a good idea to actually put down a rug too. Because whenever you have the speakers coming down, if you have hardwood floor, we ripped out our carpet because we're redoing the flooring, but you don't want anything bouncing off there. So another thing, whenever you're doing speakers, if you have an enclosure like this, you want to have it as far forward as possible, because if it's too far back, then whenever waves come out, they expand, right? So if this is too far back, then it'll be bouncing around and then going the wrong way, so it'll give you a bad calibration. So all you do is just plug this in, and then it goes and starts it for you. They say what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to just leave your microphone in the middle, or in the position you're supposed to be seating, and then you're just supposed to be in the back of the room. So I'll go ahead and set it up and move back. That's basically how you do it. Apparently I forgot to turn on the subwoofer, so I got to redo the calibration. But that's simply it. Besides that, let's just say I went ahead and accepted this. So come over here. So then you're actually going to go into your remote settings. Okay, find the remote. Here we go. So this is basic setup for a home theater. What you want to do is go to manual setup, because you already did auto setup before. Basically, depending on what you have, I have 7 speakers plus 2 presence speakers. So that one's probably best going with this configuration. And then whenever you do that, you can actually, it tells you which ones it got from the calibration, if your speakers are large or small. I think it's if it's larger than a 4-inch woofer, or maybe a 5-inch woofer, not really sure, but it'll automatically give you if it's a large or a small speaker. Now, people recommend doing small speakers, setting them to small, because with that you get the ability to control the crossover point. That way your subwoofer picks up certain frequencies, and your other speakers cut off around the same frequency. You're going to have a slight overlap, but you don't want to have, a big gap in between the two. So this one's set up for small, and it's 40 hertz, so 40 hertz is pretty deep. And this kind of gives you it kind of chooses for you based on what it heard. So typically everyone says to do is to put them all to 80 and then have all the rest of the stuff going to your subwoofer. And once you get past that, it'll tell you what your distance is. If you measured right, it'll tell you what if you did a really good job. Now we got pretty close because these are dead on. That one's a little closer than these. Backs are good. This one is just slightly off, so if you're within a few tenths, then you're fine. And this gives you what it thinks that it should charge the speakers as. This is basically from reference, so it's giving the present speakers a little more juice because they don't, I mean, they're only 50 watts, so it's not going to give you a whole lot of sound out of those, so it's going to raise the ability from them, or the power to them. And your EQ, you can do this whatever you want. Typically, a lot of people like to do flat. You can also do natural. I don't recommend doing front because that's like everything that you have is going to be on one wall, and it doesn't really sound good. I mean, people do it. There's a reason for it, but I don't recommend doing that if you're doing a real home theater setup. And that's about it. So I got to redo the calibration because I didn't put on the sub. But besides that, I mean, unless I forget anything, then I'll come back with another video. Thanks.